Accessible web.
Right into name role value. I think this is going to be the exciting one here. Cool. So I'm very interested to see what these are coded as. And for this, we are going to dive into code inspection. So let's take a look at this first read aloud component. Again, I'm pulling up my developer tools in Chrome. Uh, I believe all major browser makers have some form of this of code inspection tools available. It might look a little bit different. It might organize information a bit differently, but Firefox has this, and Microsoft Edge has code inspection. Those are the browsers I'm most familiar with. But just so you know, even if it doesn't look quite like this, you do have the capability to see into the code. And I want to see this read aloud. Cool. The other tool I really like to point out is in Chrome, in sort of our panel of properties we can look at, styles, computed, accessibility, and properties. This accessibility panel is my best friend. If you're doing manual auditing or coding, I hope it becomes your best friend as well. This is a really great place to get a summary of the accessibility information for a component. So I'm going to make sure that I've highlighted my element I want to look at, which is this read aloud element. I can use this accessibility panel to get a summary of the accessibility information. So it's got a name of read aloud, and that matches the visible text that I can see read aloud. It's got a role of button. And I can see that it's not an invalid entry because it's not editable, it's focusable, and it says it's currently focused, which I'm not sure that's accurate, but so that's cool. So I'm seeing that it is coded as a button. It's not coded as a link. So I think we're on the right track. Buttons perform actions on the same page. But one thing that I notice about this is that when I have clicked read aloud, I've pulled up the read aloud content. There's a visual indication here that I'm currently in that read aloud content. There's a purplish background, a purple line. So visually, as a visual user, I'm getting a cue of which of these elements in the navigation I've currently selected. But when I come back over to my accessibility properties, I know it's a read aloud, it's a button, it's related to read aloud. I don't get any information that it's currently selected. There's nothing in here that's giving me an indication of that I've currently selected it, that's currently what's available. And so this is where we think about what kind of role or what kind of properties or states we might need to apply here in order to communicate that information. Again, thinking particularly about users who aren't using this visually, or users who are on different types of assistive technology that are going to communicate what's currently going on with the component. So one of the cool things and one of the tricky things when we're talking about applying roles to components are also called design patterns, where we talk about a full set of roles, states, properties, those types of considerations. There's not necessarily one single right pattern that we could apply here. The key thing is I want to convey this component performs an action. I want to convey that one is selected at a time. And I think we can also convey that it's changing our content panel. So with all of those pieces of information, I think the design pattern that I would recommend here is a tab list. It's kind of a big one, and it maybe doesn't look like a traditional tab list, but functionally, I think that's what it's doing. And a tab list design pattern is going to cover these pieces of information. It's telling me these are interactive components. It'll tell me which ones currently selected, which ones are not selected. And it will also communicate that it's updating a panel of content that changes based on which component is currently selected. Now, again, I'll come back. There's maybe some pros and cons to that approach. We would need to talk about how we're going to communicate these headings because tablets don't normally include headings. So we might address that. Yeah, we would probably this would be an area where I would have a conversation with the client or with the content owner specifically about design patterns. But at least this is the initial design pattern that occurs to me is I think these are functioning as tab lists or tabs, and that's what's most going to clearly communicate what these components are, what they do, what's going to happen when I activate it, and then what's it currently doing, like which one is currently being displayed. But definitely when we have unique designs, unique functionality, sometimes we may decide that another design pattern, which again is still communicating those key pieces of information, may fit here, may fit better with their system, or may fit better to more accurately convey maybe like the structure of this information. So right, if we were doing a full audit, I would come into this custom widgets tool because a tab list is a custom design pattern, and I would create a failure identifying the pattern I'm recommending and why, and talk about some of those considerations of ways we might want to either adjust the content or if we need to talk about another design pattern that might fit here.